Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. Welcome, and thank you for being here. In today's video, we are going to continue to work with envelopes. And I'm not going to call them junk mail envelopes because these are actually excess envelopes that I have that I purchased at a thrift store. Either I purchased them or they were a gift. But these are it. They are non-window envelopes. They are I think they're called a number 10 envelope. Super plain, but I do have a big box of these, just like I have a big box of the window envelopes, and just like I have a box of junk mail envelopes. I'm having a good time with the envelopes. And today I'm going to blow your mind. And I say that because I blew my own mind. I blew my sister's mind. And it all started with these envelopes right here that I worked on a couple years ago with junk mail envelopes. And that created these envelopes, the pocket junk mail envelopes. I will link the video down below so you can go and take a look at those. And then a few days ago, I uploaded a different video where I was inspired by my own work. And I created these double window envelope pockets. And I embellished these a little bit different than the original video 2 years ago. And I will link that one below as well. I'm telling you guys, I'm having a really good time playing with envelopes. And I'll tell you how I came up with this idea. But look at these envelopes, you guys. They look like little houses. Oh my gosh. Stop it. Stop it. And it all came about from working on these double window envelopes a few days ago. Again, that video is linked down below. And as I was drawing them, I have a drawing rack, and I dry them kind of standing up because and it's not because they're wet, but because they have glue and I don't want them to stick to each other. So I have this drying rack and I stand them up. I looked over and glanced at my envelopes, and they look like little houses. That flap looked like a little roof, and that shorter window looked like a little door. And you guys, this light bulb came on in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make little house envelope pockets, and they are going to be so cute. There are a few things about me that you may already know. I love everything little house. Everything. Maybe that's why I'm in the real estate industry, but I do. I love everything. I have so many little house rubber stamps and ephemera. And the ephemera I'm just hoarding because I love it so much. And I also love hearts. The heart is my favorite shape, and I've mentioned that many, many times. And you could see it throughout my work, how I like to use the heart shape in a lot of my projects. In these house pocket envelopes, I use them as a chimney, and I use them as a window. And so, oh my gosh, so stinking cute. I was like, stop it. Just stop it. When I shared my idea with my sister, I sent her a Snapchat. I said, hey, look what I came up with these envelopes. And I told her how I came about it, and she's like, oh my gosh, those are so stinking cute. So cute. Okay, so I already worked on a few, and I worked on these. I'm recording this video on Sunday. And so I worked on these Saturday night. And I worked Saturday night. Did I work Saturday? I did. Anyway, long story short, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't stop working on these. And the more I worked on them, the more the ideas kept growing and growing. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up super early on Sunday morning because I'm gonna continue to work on these. So I need to go to bed. And that's exactly what I did. Went to bed and got up super early in the morning, and I am crafting in my pajamas. Super cute. I'm pointing out all of the different elements that I've used with these super cute little house pocket envelopes. I don't even know what to call them, but I think that's a pretty good description. I used everything from washi tape, scraps of paper, especially my jelly print paper, because I just love the jelly prints. And I used some of the jelly prints that I didn't love as much, but I was holding on to for future, I don't know what kind of project, but this is where we are today. And I may not have been in love with those jelly print papers, some of them, not all of them, but they all just kind of fell into place, and they look absolutely adorable, super cute. And so I've used scraps of those and book page phrases. Let's see. I'm showing you here that they're flat. They are super flat, so they are going to be perfect in junk journals or for scrapbooking or however you want to use them. And you know what else they're great for? Gift giving. You can open that flap and you can stick $100 bill in there and call it good. Not that I'm giving away $100 bills or anything, but you know what I mean. You could put, they're great for cash or nice little letter, gift cards, gift certificate. I don't know, just whatever. They're just so much fun. And I had so much fun making these. As I mentioned in the video before, one of the things that I'm challenging myself to is to use up my stash and go through my supplies and also my scraps. Because my scraps, I have a scrap box and I can't even close the lid anymore. It's just wide open. So I'll show you what I do with my scraps in just a second, but look at how super cute. The chimney is made from, I was watching buttons, the paper buttons being made. It came up on my YouTube home feed, and so I clicked on a few, and these videos were old, like 5 years old. And that's where I was inspired to make some buttons, but I didn't want round buttons, and so I made some heart buttons. So they are now, and at first I thought, oh, these buttons are whack. And so I set them aside because I honestly didn't like how they turned out. I didn't think I would ever use them. So I just kept them in a little dish on my desk. And they just lived there for a little bit. Well, when I was gathering my supplies to make these little houses, again, I was reaching for things that I save for maybe I'll use it later kind of thing. And then it just worked out. And in fact, the very first thing that I did Sunday morning in my pajamas was make more hearts, because I used up the few that I had made that I thought were whack. But I love how they turned out, and you guys, let's have some fun, because I'm going to show you how I made these. Look at how cute. You know what they look like? They look like row houses. They look like a little ice cream shop, a little boutique shop just lined up, something you'd find on, Main Street. Oh my gosh, so cute. And I didn't stop. So for the video, I'm going to make a couple of them. But I didn't stop. And even then, you guys, the video took me a while. I didn't realize how long this video went on, but I was just having so much fun. I'm showing you what I've done with some of the scraps that I have. And I punch out scraps. And then I layered them to make these buttons. And some of them are layered with about 4 different layers of just any scrap paper, because when I print the jelly print, it's on copy paper. Here is my little container of hearts that I have die cut from scrap paper. And so I have some cardboard, or some heavier weight like cardstock or cardboard. So I backed the jelly printed hearts onto the thicker paper, just glued it on, and I'm just kind of motioning really quick how I created the buttons. But I'm sure you've seen the circle paper buttons that have been around for a while. It's the Same process, except I made them into hearts, and then I gold embossed them, punched some holes, and then threaded a little bit of embroidery floss, and they were okay when I first made them. I'm like, that's okay. They turned out okay. And I gold embossed them. Now, if you don't have gold embossing powder, I also used gold paint. And you can barely tell the difference. So I did both because I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. The one on the right is gold embossed, and the heart on the left, I used that gold paint I showed you a moment ago, and you really can't tell the difference. And they both turned out so cute, and those are the ones that I made Sunday morning. So once I discovered that I can use them as a chimney, I hurried and I made a whole bunch more on Sunday morning. And then I also took my round punch and just started punching out a bunch of circles from scrap paper, and those are my windows, or the windows that I used on some of the pocket envelopes. So let's get down to business and let's make some cute little pocket houses. The very first thing is to seal the envelope. And if you don't have just plain envelopes, you can use junk mail envelopes. And it really doesn't matter if it has a window or not, because you can cover it with paper, and then you're going to use little scraps and pieces of paper to add your embellishments, such as your door and your window. So it doesn't matter, plain envelope or a window envelope. If you've watched my 2 other videos, I'm going through this process pretty fast because I show you in slower in those other 2 videos. And that one, the very first video I made a couple years ago, you guys, that's like my most popular video, and I'm so proud of it too. And if you want to see what those popular videos are, you can also jump over to my homepage, and you get there by just clicking on my name. That'll take you to my YouTube homepage channel, and then just scroll down a little bit and you'll see a list of all of the popular videos, and the number 1 video there will be the pocket envelopes. So I've made so many of these that I think I can make these with my eyes closed now. But just to show you what I've done is I'm going to cut part of one of the flaps because we don't need it, and then I go beyond the fold line about 1/4 of an inch, and that's because I like that it leaves a little gap between the fold and the pocket to give you just enough room to put your fingers in there. And that's one of the ideas that I'm super proud of, that I did a couple years ago, and it works out really well because it makes it easier to insert and pull out anything that you put into that pocket. So you can see how there's a double fold there, and now I'm just going to cut that flap off and put it away. I'm not throwing it away, it's actually going into my scrap pile. Now we know why I can't close the lid. And I'm going to do the same thing to both. I just thought if I'm going to make 2 of these, I'll just get the 2 prepared and out of the way. I wanted to make each one look a little bit different, and as much as I tried to do that, they kind of all still look the same. So that basically says I have, I guess, a style design, and I couldn't go beyond that. But there are so many more ideas that you can do with these. So many other ways to embellish. So if this is something that interests you and you'd like to give it a try, don't limit yourself. Use whatever you have. If you don't have jelly print paper, use scrapbooking paper, magazines. What else? Just any paper. And you're watching this because you love paper, and so I know that you have a collection of all kinds of paper, and so we need to dive in to our supplies and use them. And I think this is one of the best ways to use our supplies and also use a lot of the scraps that we are kind of holding on to. So my envelopes are about 4 and I think it was 1/8, 4 1/8 wide. And so I am cutting it just a tad under that so that I could slide it into the pocket. And I'm not going to slide it all the way in, just enough to layer on top of that top flap. So I'm just going to tuck it in, I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch or 1 inch. And I'm going to glue that paper to the inside of the flap. So basically collaging. So I will be doing a lot of collage. And I'm just going to glue it down. I'm using my art glitter glue for this. And the art glitter glue, just keep this in mind, because I'm only using a tiny bit of it, once your paper goes down, the bond is almost instant. So you have milliseconds to make any adjustments. My recommendation is to use a glue stick because that is more forgiving and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to make any adjustments if you laid it down kind of lopsided. So now I'm just going to fold it over and glue that flap down as well. If you noticed in the little houses in the envelopes at the beginning, I did not cover the entire back of the envelope, and I could in the other envelopes that I've made. I do collage on the back, but for these I thought I would leave them blank. They're already perfect for journaling on. And I will embellish them just a little bit. These are going to be perfect as floating pockets in a journal. But if you want to make them and be able to glue them down to a page, that's also perfect. And so I just trimmed the excess off, and it's just a little bit under that fold line. And then I'll go back and embellish it in just a moment. I'll use washi tape on the back and just do a little bit of collage work. So now I'm going to collage the front, which is going to be like the facade of the house. And I'm going to add another layer of jelly print paper or scrapbooking paper. Here, this is just scrapbooking paper. Let's see. I think I'm undecided. So before recording the video, I kind of laid out everything in front of me that I wanted to use so that I can go quick. Because I wanted to make a short video, you guys. A short, brief video. Oh my gosh, I don't think there's such a thing. I was just having too much fun. So I think this one's really good. I also want, as much as I want to use all of the scraps that I have, I do want them to be cohesive, so they can match. But one thing I did realize is, and I've said this before, if you work with colors that you love, regardless of the project that you're making, first, you're going to have so much more fun because the colors that you've chosen to work with are going to make you happy. And once you go through your supplies, you're going to notice a pattern. There's going to be a similarity and a cohesiveness in all of your supplies. So regardless of what you grab, whether it's ribbon, scraps of paper, scrapbooking paper, or just little odds and ends, and even embellishments, you're going to notice that they're all kind of matchy-matchy because you are either making or you're purchasing in the hues that you love. So everything is going to fall into place and it's going to match. So don't be afraid to use it. Like if you noticed on that little house that's on the right hand side, the roof is purple. And I was actually really surprised at how much I love that one. That one's actually one of my favorites. I don't use purple very often, and I've said this over and over again. I don't dislike the color. In fact, I love the color deep purple, like a very rich eggplant. I love that. It's the lavender shades that I kind of struggle with. I don't dislike them. I don't know how to use them. But that purple one there on the right hand side, it turned out so cute. They all did. And I think it's because it has a little bit of that turquoise in it. Anyway, those color combinations are beautiful. So I'm just gluing it down. And I'm not too worried about all of that white space. In fact, I'm okay with the white space. Sometimes you need a little bit of white space in your projects so that it's more appealing to your eye. In the previous envelopes, I actually cut the bottom off. But with these, I decided to fold it over. So you can do both, or choose a style that you prefer. Either way, it's going to turn out really nice. And I will finish that in just a moment, so it'll look much better. I'm rounding out the corners of the roof. We're going to call it a roof because that's basically what I'm creating. Just rounding out the corners. What's most fun in this project are the details. And so the more you work on it, you start seeing how it's all coming together. And it just gets cuter and cuter, everybody. Oh my gosh, just so cute. Right now, they're actually all laid out on my desktop because I just want to look at them. I just want to stare at them because they are so flipping cute. So I'm reaching for more scraps. So now I am going to create a door. And I'm just going through the little scraps of paper. These are offcuts. And we save everything. If I don't use it to make doors, I will grab my punches and I will punch circles and even more hearts. That's a great way to reuse your scraps, especially smaller ones. Just kind of go through your scrap box, grab some of your favorite punches, and just start punching out and keep them separate. So I do have different containers for all the different shapes. One of the other ideas that I had is to use tags as a door. And I don't actually use one in this video, but I did set them aside so that I can use some in others, because I'm not done making these, you guys. I'll be making these for a while. But look at how cute those look. So you take a tag, and it can be a clothing tag because I save every single garment tag that comes with my purchase. I just say I have a box drawer, I have a drawer, and I just throw them in there. So I pulled a few out that I thought would work, and I'm sure they will, just not in the little houses that I create in this video. Now, I'm not measuring anything. It's okay if they are a little bit wonky and lopsided, and that kind of gives it a more, what is the word I'm looking for? Funky? Funky little houses. I mean, they're already pretty mixed media-ish, and so I don't need a perfectly rectangular door. And here is where I reach for a window. So these are the little circles, again, cut out from jelly print papers. Super, super cute. So you can see the two different style of windows that I've created. And I didn't want to overthink this process either, because there are so many ideas where if I wanted to use a heart on one, I went with it, and maybe the next one I'll use a circle punch. Maybe even a little square piece of paper, but I don't want to overthink it. I want to play, and that's exactly what I did. And I had a lot of fun. It was first thing in the morning, and I probably slept, 5 hours, but I was eager to get up and start working. I made myself a nice cup of coffee, and I got to work. And so it's my day off today. There are some Sundays where I work, but I didn't work this Sunday. So I thought I would play. I also went and gathered some of the trims to add as a little embellishment on that roof. I first started out by cutting out some some paper and giving it a scalloped edge, like those there. And then I embellished it with I just kind of doodled on them. And I'm going to show you really quick how I created that scalloped edge. Now, the jelly print paper in itself is pretty thin. And because it's going to be part of that roof flap, I doubled it up and then cut a scalloped to reinforce it. And I do have a die that cuts scallop edges, and I even have edge punches. But if I could do it with just a pair of scissors, and it gives it that little wonky, funky look, I'm okay with that. So just really easy, and it's okay. They don't have to be even. Enjoy the process. Sometimes I give myself these tedious projects so that I can learn to have more patience, because I tend to work really fast, but I also want to slow down and enjoy what I'm doing. And working, creating embellishments like this actually help me slow down a little bit to enjoy what I'm doing. Cutting paper, gluing paper, I just love it. So I just added a little bit of glue, and then just glue. It's folded, glue it to itself, and now just by doing that, it's a little bit sturdier, and it'll look a lot better and feel better. So it won't be as flimsy as a little scalloped or a faux canopy on that little rooftop. Look at how cute. Super, super cute. You can even layer it up with more trim. And I mean, the possibilities, the ideas are endless. So if you've got all these ideas and you don't do it on that first one, try it on that second one. If you don't know what it's going to look like, give it a try. Just glue it together. Because we won't know. I know sometimes we're afraid, oh no, I don't want to use this trim or this piece of paper, because what if it doesn't turn out good? Well, we're not going to know until we do it. And chances are it's going to look great. And if it doesn't, we'll fix it to make it look even better. I think one of the hardest things for me is before at least, it was to cut trim down. And that was really tough. So one of these days, I will show you or give you a brief look into my craft area and the way that I organize my trims and my ribbons. This little Mary Engelbright box is, 15, 20 years old. Let's see. I gave it to my oldest daughter as a birthday gift when she was a teenager, and it was a stationery kit. I love Mary Engelbright. I've loved her for a very, very long time. And my oldest daughter is 34 years old, you guys. She just turned 34. And so she was probably 14 maybe. So this little tin is about 20 years old. And when she used up all the stationery, I kept the tin, and it has been housing my gems for a long, long time. Maybe even 20 years, a long time. So that's where I keep all of my gems, and it used to close. But so I need to stop buying gems and start using the gems. And look at how perfect this one looks as a doorknob. Knock it off. Stop it, it's so cute. Let me know what you think down below. Do you love these, you guys? You got to go through all of your scraps, and you're going to make these beautiful little envelope houses, and it's going to be so much fun. I kid you not, you are going to have so much fun. If you're able to, call your best friend, your girlfriend, your neighbor, and do this together, do it. I actually invited my sister to come over and do this with me. It was really late, and she had other things that she was doing, but that didn't stop me. I'm like, okay, I'm a lone crafter. I'm okay with that. So here we go. This is how I add my little heart chimney to the rooftop. And I could have cut another rectangular piece of paper, but that would be kind of boring. Projects like this, we're able to expand our imagination and create with items that are not obvious, So you have two options here, and I did both, where I glued it and then I held it together with a clothespin just so it adheres perfectly. I'm admiring that glitter tape on my stapler, and I'm wondering if I have any more of it. That's what I was doing. And then you can also staple the heart. For the sake of demonstrating, I did both. I glued it and I stapled it. You don't have to do both, one or the other. If you glued it alone, just grab a clip just so you secure it while it's drying. What's nice about this is when you open the flap, it opens completely flat. It doesn't add any bulk. All it adds is cuteness. Lots and lots of it. So now it's time to add some phrases. Let me tell you what I do with my book pages. I've got lots of book pages, you guys. And sometimes there will be a phrase, a sentence, even a word that catches my attention. And I'll cut it out and I save it in this little container. And sometimes it'll be itty bitty bits of book page that I've saved. And it'll be a word, simple word. It'll say beauty, it'll say home, it'll say house. And I save all those little words, I cut them out, and I put them in that little bag for projects like this. Isn't that one perfect? I'll read you what that one says. That one says, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. And that is a verse from the Bible, Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. So yeah, that was in a book. And so I thought that was perfect. And I love how you can knock and it shall be opened unto you. And and it's a little house and it has a little door and you can knock on it. Oh my gosh, so perfect, so perfect. So, and then some of these are also from, like this one right here is a digital that I purchased from Nick the Booksmith many, many years ago. And I like that quote. Just randoms that I've been collecting. The Nick the Booksmith digital reads, the problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. And that's a quote by Pablo Picasso. By the way, did you guys know that Pablo Picasso was the first person to legitimize, the first artist to legitimize collage? Yes, he was. That was a question a while back. I think it was Dina Wakley. During the pandemic, Dina Wakley was doing these amazing videos. And that was one of her little trivia questions. And I guessed Pablo Picasso, and then she confirmed it. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then some of the other, we can use You can write your own words too. You can stamp them. And these are Tim Holtz words. And I wasn't careful too. I didn't want to take too much time in choosing the phrases. But this one right here that I am sticking on reads, because I think it's hard to tell. It reads, keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Yes. It's important to keep some room in your heart and keep an open mind. So stinking cute. So cute. That the phrase on the little house on the far right, that one reads, eventually my strength would return so bright and shiny. Those are 3 cutouts from 3 completely different pages, and I just turned them into a sentence. So I'm going to continue to embellish this with a little bit of washi tape. And one of the reasons is I have challenged myself to use washi tape in all of my projects. So regardless of what I'm doing, there's going to be a little bit of washi tape, because as I've mentioned before, if you've been, watching and following my videos, there is a lot of washi tape that I have recently had to throw away because it just kind of gummed up. It just got stuck to each other, and there was no way to save it or salvage it, and so it was so sad. And I was a little bit disappointed at myself for not using it. It's so cute, and I was hoarding it, but we're not doing that anymore. We don't think that way anymore. We use it or lose it. Use it or lose it. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I was watching Tim Holtz do a studio tour and organization of his craft area, his work area, and he said the exact same thing. I mean, we all know it. We all say it, use it or lose it, and I've been saying it for a while, so it was so cute to hear him say use it or lose it. It's true. Whether it's a tangible item or an idea, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So that's how I feel about the washi tape. Use it or lose it. And in fact, I lost many, many rolls. So I'm just embellishing the back of the little house pocket, inking up the edges just a little bit. And look at that. Just that little bit of washi tape made all the difference. So it doesn't need much. If you plan on sticking it down to a page in your junk journal, then you don't need to do anything to the back. This is a great pen. It is one of my absolute favorites. I've been using this for many years now. It is the Feud Ball, and this one is a 1.5 nib. And I think this one, I purchased it from Ranger. It's not a Ranger pen. I think it's a Japanese pen, and I can't remember who makes it, but it's the Feud Ball 1.5. But this one is also distributed by Ranger. I may have purchased it directly from Ranger or one of the retailers, maybe even Simon Says, simonsaysstamp.com. That's where I purchased a lot of my online supplies. So I'm taking my pen and I am outlining, and this will help kind of bring everything together and frame it. So what do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would really appreciate some feedback here. If you're going to give this a try, let me know. Let me know what you're currently working on too. And you can never over embellish. As long as it's cohesive and it's all looking good, it's all in the details. And that's something that I've learned and that has evolved. It is all in the details, those tiny little details that give it the wow factor. Yeah, take your time with those and enjoy it. And then stand back and look at it. And if you're unsure, let it sit overnight. Take a look take a look at your projects again with a fresh set of eyes a day later, and you'll know if you need to leave it alone because it's done, or if you need to continue adding more embellishments. I have a few little dishes with random little things in it. This is one of them. I have epoxy, just random things in there. Resin stars and little wax things that I've made, buttons, paper clips. And I knew that I had a tiny little punch out of a jelly print flower. Tiny. I knew it was in there. And so I just wanted to add it to embellish that heart. It's a little bit hard to pick it up with the camera, but it does look super cute. Look at it. Aww. You guys, in one of my older videos, I think it was my jelly print video. I think that's also one of my popular videos where I do the faux jelly plate hack. And there's a comment there, and I just couldn't stop laughing. The lady said, a commenter said, will someone please tell this lady to stop talking to us like we're in kindergarten? I guess I do that. The comment didn't bother me because I think kindergarten teachers are amazing. One of my best friends is a kindergarten teacher. I have family and other friends that are also elementary school teachers, so I don't think I'm talking to you like you're in kindergarten. You just don't personally know me. And sometimes it's really hard to get to know the type of person that I am and my personality. But she didn't seem to like it. I think she liked the hack and the actual project, but she didn't like my voice. She didn't like the way I was talking to her. That's okay. Those comments don't bother me. So now I'm adding a few more of these tiny little hearts. And this is what I do with scraps. I punch out all kinds of different, so I don't throw any scrap away, especially if it's glitter paper. I will punch the hearts out of it until there are slivers of paper left. I kid you not. So I take my heart punch and I just start punching away. So I'm just adding some companion flowers to the big heart, and then I'll draw in some stems and some leaves just to kind of finish it off. I did feel like it needed a little bit more, and so that's why I added the little strip of heart washi tape, which I love, and then just doodled in some of those extra heart flowers. So cute. I almost didn't do the second one because I looked at the time and realized, oh my gosh, we're almost at 45 minutes, and I worked on one of them. And that's having all of my supplies ready to go and knowing kind of, what it is that I was doing. But then I thought, oh, I can keep it under an hour. Let's do a second one. So with this one, I am going to use this scrap paper. And here's something that I discovered. So in the previous video, where I make the other the envelope pockets, where I do the similar process with lining the inside so it shows through the window. When you're using print, I had said that you needed to glue it down, and then instead of folding it over, you would need to cut it to make sure that it's all in the same direction once it's closed. Well, I was wrong. Don't cut it. You could still fold it over, because when you close the flap, it's going to be right side up anyway. So yeah. So if you watch my other video and you heard me say that, that was a duh. That was a duh moment. So just fold it over. So make sure when you first insert it into the pocket that it's right side up, and you'll be fine. And when you fold it over, your letters and your words are not going to be upside down. They're going to be perfect on both sides. So see, practice makes better, you guys. I never said I was perfect. I don't aim for perfection. It wouldn't be fun. That would be too much pressure. And then I wouldn't take chances, and I wouldn't be creating funky houses from envelopes. So I'm going to use a contrasting color here, but they kind of match. There's some of those beige tones in there that kind of tie it all together. If I missed, oh, here's a quick tip. I'll get back to that in a second. When you're gluing something down, if you have a glue book like I do here, it's just an old book, a medical book, an index medical book. Take whatever you need to glue and make it flush to the edge of the book, and then run your glue stick. It makes it so much easier because you can just slide that glue stick over the edge, and it's cleaner too. I hope that made sense. If I missed describing anything or sharing something with you, just let me know down below. Please leave me any questions that you may have about anything that I'm using or how I created something, or if you just want more information, just let me know down below. I do reply to all of my comments as quickly as I possibly can, unless you comment in the middle of the night and I'm sleeping or crafting at 2 a.m. But I do reply to all of my comments and any questions that you may have, so please feel free to let me know if you have any questions, just in case I missed anything. So now I'm going through my trims and kind of deciding what it is that I'm going to use to embellish and to create that little canopy. And so I'm going to use some of that rosette trim. It is my favorite trim to use, and I really like it because it looks like it looks very dimensional, and you would think that it would add bulk to your projects or even your junk journals, but it lays absolutely flat. Doesn't add any bulk whatsoever. I get this ribbon at Hobby Lobby and also at Joann's. And what's nice is that they each carry different shades, different colors, and different sizes. So if you don't find what you're looking for in one store, you can hop over to the other and find what you need. I did notice that Joann's has a lot more color variations, especially solid colors. So now we're going to create a door. I was kind of looking through my scraps, hoping that I would have a pink scrap paper to make that door, so it kind of matches the rosette trim. And this is the closest, but it was really light and it kind of faded into that background. So I'm just going to matte it and frame it with some orange, because why not? All those colors work really well together. And I do think that I have a door stamp. I need to go through my stamps. I'm almost certain that I do. And then I could stamp the door and then fussy cut it. So I think I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go look for it. And then the other thing that I do is I have some die cuts. But the die cuts I have are actually the shape of a little house. But maybe there's a door in there too. So if you want your doors to look like actual doors, I'm sure there's a stamp or a die cut out there. But if you're okay with them looking a little bit wonky and fun, then this is the way to go. You don't have to measure or anything. Just kind of eyeball a little rectangle and you're done. You're good to go. So I am going to use one of my circle punches as a window, even though I do prefer to use the hearts. But then I thought, why can't I do both? So I'm going to place a heart over the circle. There you go. Problem solved. And then if I had another little flower, I would have added the flower to the heart. So layer upon layer upon layer, that's all good. The more layers, the better. It adds dimension, it adds character, and there's so much more to look at. And to create a doorknob for this one, I'm using a glitter heart. If you're still here with me, thank you so much. I know this is a long video, you guys. And to thank you for being here, I'm going to, if you comment below and let me know what you think about these, and let me know that you enjoy this video, even though it is kind of long, I'm going to choose 2 or 3 of you and send you out one of these these little house pocket envelopes. So if you would like to receive one of these, just let me know down below, and I am happy to send one your way. So I'll choose 2 or 3 of you, and once you comment, I'll reach out to you and give you instructions. So yes, just for sticking around. We're 51 minutes into the video, and if you're still here, thank you so much. I am so grateful and just so appreciative of all of you that are helping me through my YouTube journey. And I hope that I continue to do this and bring you some fun content in hopes that it inspires you to create and come up with your own ideas as well. You may want to do this, and it's going to be a little bit different, and that's what it's all about, inspiration. Oh, I love this one so much. So I chose black Tim Holtz word stickers for this because it'll pop more against the roof, and it's not competing against the letters in the background. It needs like a garden down below, or like a little flower box. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have any, are flower punches. I used the last one on that other heart. And so I'm going to sit at my craft table, grab my floral punches, and start punching away all those other little bits and pieces of scrap paper, and separate those for things like this. So I already have the circles, I already have the hearts, I just need a few more flat flowers. I do have flowers, but they are dimensional. And for this project, we want to keep it as flat as possible, so that it lays perfect in your journals. And not overthinking it, adding that gingham washi tape, and then a little bit more of that thin heart washi tape. And then let's finish the back. I don't think I've ever used that gingham washi tape, so yeah. And I'm so glad that one wasn't all gummy. The butterfly one is the one that I tend to use the most. And I was tempted. I was in Hobby Lobby the other day, and I was so tempted to pick up another roll, but nope, I said I wasn't going to buy any until I use up what I have. So once I finish this butterfly washi, then I'll go get another one, because I know that I will use it. So finishing off the edges, just inking them a little bit. I had so much fun working on these little houses from an envelope, you guys. I think it is one of my favorite projects thus far. I kid you not, my absolute favorite. I love it, and I hope that you loved it too. But it is. I just kind of, I blew my own mind, and sometimes we'll do that. So stinking cute. A lot of the times, like I said earlier, these will sit on my craft table overnight, and then I'll look at them with a fresh set of eyes the very next day. And if I need to add something or even take away something, I'll do that, but only after I've let them sit for a while. I showed these to my mother as I was making my coffee this morning, and she was actually quite surprised that I can do that from envelopes. It doesn't surprise her because I've been paper crafting since I was in junior high. So she knows what I'm capable of. But she thought it was pretty impressive. Aw, thanks, Mom. So just going around adding some finishing touches to them. And now we stand back and admire our work. If you are here and you are not subscribed to my channel, I invite you to join my YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun and I would love to have you here. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for watching my videos as long as they are sometimes. I appreciate you so much. We are coming to a close and look at how beautiful they look, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's a long one. But sometimes it is what it is. You guys take care. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to comment below. You guys have a great and amazing week. And I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye.